All right. Well, hello and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Tuesday Notary Titans. My name is Bill Soroka, founder of notarycoach.com and author of Sign and Thrive, How to Make Six Figures as a Mobile Notary and Loan Signing Agent, plus three other books on the notary business building opportunity. So excited to be here with you today. You can tell my mind's a little distracted getting ready for my trip to Philadelphia, leaving tomorrow to celebrate at the Philly Notary Social. Hopefully, I'll get to see some of you over in Philadelphia this weekend. If not, there are at least five notary peer events that you want to put on your calendar each year, and Philly Notary Social is one of those five. Check it out at phillysocial2023.com. All right, I'm talking a little slowly today too to give my amazing co-host Laura Biewer a little bit of time to skid in sideways here. She got a little bit of a delay. But let's get this party started anyway. I'll tell you how TNT works. It's like an old-fashioned call-in radio show, except we're on Zoom and video, hopefully. I love seeing your faces, so thank you for that. Use the raise hand feature in Zoom. That might vary depending on your device and the version of Zoom that you have. But when we call on you, tell us what state you're in, because that might impact the answer. Try to be as succinct as possible when you ask your question. And if we need more information, Laura or I will ask some follow-up questions, and we'll do our best to get you the perspective or the answer that you need. Also, the power of a group like this is your perspective as well. So if you hear a question, if you're in the same state as somebody, if you've got some perspective or experience to share, please do so in the chat. In fact, thank you for everybody who's already using the chat, but let's warm that up a little bit. Why don't you introduce yourself, tell everybody what state you're from, and say hi. You can actually connect with each other in private chat or even just in the group chat too. So if you're looking for a peer network, TNT is a great place to start that. So let's test this out. Laura will be here any moment. You'll have lots of room for perspective. Matt, I might even drag you up here. Thank you for being here. Matt Miller from the California League of Independent Notaries is here and helps out a lot on this show. But does anybody have a question, burning question about how to build your business, cultivating relationships, finding clients, prospecting, notary situations, all that good stuff? This is the place to do so. We got one hand up already. I'm going to wait for a couple more hands here, Karen. Somebody's got to warm us up here. Thank you, Dev. All right, we'll get you going here. Karen, thank you so much. Come on up. I know you're in Washington. How can we help?
Yep. Hi, Washington State here. So I just launched my website and got my business cards and all my stuff. So I'm super excited.
Awesome.
I've spent some time. Yeah, it's like I'm finally like I can get out there and do this. So I've been out there a little bit, kind of networking, putting my rat cards in places where they might get seen by the right people. And so I'm I'm working on my LinkedIn profile, and I've been watching the training by um I
Sandra?
forget it's the yes,
Yeah.
I've been watching that. So something that doesn't seem to get mentioned in any of the LinkedIn training is whether you should use a business page or your personal page. And I've got both. My business page is new. My personal page I've had forever. And I've gone through and now tweaked my personal page to reflect my notary work. Um, and am starting to reach out to attorneys, people in estate planning, and that kind of thing, that I'd like to start growing my network in that world. Um, I also want to do that on my business page, but that is all new to me because you can't connect with people. You can profile or you can follow pages. So I wonder what you all do when it comes to LinkedIn and what's the best way to connect with people using your personal profile and then hoping that they navigate to your business page, or like the other way around. How do I best
Yeah.
leverage those?
Great question. I just love to see that you are leveraging LinkedIn for that. So this is mentioned in the LinkedIn Professional Profile course. It's also a part of the Supercharge Your Notary Business with LinkedIn book as well. So we talk about this extensively because it's really important. On LinkedIn, your personal page basically is your business page. Yes, there is a business page that you'll set up and can link to your personal page, but everything that you do activity wise will get more traction and will mean more when you operate from your personal page. It's a professional networking site. So there's already this elevated status for your profile. So it's not like your Facebook profile out there doing business, right? This is the professional image of you profile. So everything will be done from that personal page. In fact, even some of the best brands in the world struggle with LinkedIn business pages doing anything for them. It's cool and it's important. It helps with SEO. It helps with content. It gives you a place to write stuff. It gives you a cool logo that will link to your personal when it says who you're employed by. So it's definitely worth doing. But whatever you do on your business page, you either share it to your personal or vice versa that way. And then all of your connection strategy to your ideal customers will be done through those personal messages with your personal profile. And that's why we start with building your personal profile in the beginning of that class, because you want it representative of you and your brand. So when you start reaching out and people start looking you up and researching, they're finding something that you're proud of. Is that helpful?
Yes. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you bet. And congratulations, by the way. That's huge. So glad you're getting the
Thanks.
ball rolling.
I will be reaching out to connect with you, Bill, because my goal is to get 1,000 connections in 30 days. And I'm like 20 some away. I have 900 and something.
I bet we can
Or
make that happen.
yeah. So I'm close. I have 20 some to go till I hit 1,000.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll think of a prize for my thousandth connection. Anyway, I'll hit you up.
I love that. And let's have some fun with that. In fact, Karen, I would even say, I mean, if notaries are people that you'd want to connect with, we've got 75 right here. So if you
Right.
post a
Okay.
request in the chat that just said, hey guys, I'd love to connect on LinkedIn. Here's my link to do so. I bet we can break that goal here in the next 10 minutes.
Bet we can. Okay. I'll find my link and I'll post it right here in the chat.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And let's show some support for Karen when she posts that. Jen Cooper. Yes, I would love some. Bear with me one second here. I'm just going to recruit a co-host here. Yeah, Jen, if you'd navigate that waiting room for me, I'd really appreciate that. Excellent. Matt, would you have any other perspective on LinkedIn that you would care to share, mainly about even just ideal customers, relationships that you've had, or something that demonstrates what it can do and what the right connection can do on LinkedIn?
Well, Bill, like you pointed out, I think that it's nice to have a business page for SEO purposes, but I do drive all my communications from my personal page. And what I would add is the more that you build out your personal page with your experience, your skills, your story, like maybe talk about a specific job that you like doing. Maybe it's apostille work or fingerprinting or whatever it is, and just stay active on the site. It will give you benefits down the road. People are on LinkedIn looking for professional services advisors, in fact, or providers rather. In fact, I do notary work for LinkedIn because of my LinkedIn profile. So I would recommend everyone just keep their profiles fully active and with as much information about you and the services you provide as possible. And it's another way to attract business, just like Notary or any of the three big notary websites that are out there.
Awesome, Matt. Thank you. And I just want to highlight what he just said. Like Matt's based in San Francisco, and it sounds like LinkedIn's offices are in San Francisco. So you actually do notary work for the employees and staff of LinkedIn because of your LinkedIn profile.
That's how they found me. Yep.
That's huge. You never know who's watching on those things. And here's the other invitation you have is, Sandra Long, who is my co-author in Supercharge Your Notary Business with LinkedIn, is a global speaker on the power of LinkedIn. And we wrote and published that book in 2021. And many of you have read that. Many of you applied those strategies, those best practices from that book. And you were at a certain place. LinkedIn was relatively new to almost every notary at that point. It wasn't seen as a platform where we go yet. So now you're in a different place and we're in a different time. So your invitation is to read the book again and apply the things that maybe you skipped over because it was overwhelming before, or refine your narrative or the essay part, update your credentials, add some of the amazing things that you've done in the last 2 years as your highlights. Start refining and adding some of those pieces and keep that profile alive and relevant in today's market, especially with some of those certifications you guys are taking advantage of. All right, excellent question, Karen. Sparked a great conversation. Thank you for that. Did you have another follow-up question, or that was it?
Nope, not on LinkedIn. That covers it.
All right, awesome.
I have all kinds of other stuff to say, but I want to let everyone else go.
All right, awesome. Sounds good.
Thanks, Bill.
All right, Dev Patel, thank you so much for being here. You want to unmute, tell everybody what state you're in and how we can help.
Yes, I'm in Vacaville, Northern California.
All right. Welcome. How can we help?
So I just finished my training, and I passed my test. So I wanted to know, what do I do next, and when will I receive the certification?
Beautiful. Dev, can you be more specific for me? Tell me what certification you're talking about.
CNTDA.
Awesome. Wonderful. The Certified Notary Trust Delivery Agent Program. So there's a few things. In your inbox is probably an email that says, here's your next 3 steps. So I would probably start there. We want to make sure that you get your Notary profile loaded, updated, make sure it's ready to go. And then the second part, and the most important part, is to either share the certification with your network. And this links right to our LinkedIn conversation that we just had too. So many of the graduates are posting the graphic that we create for you and send it to you in that email. And they're just posting, look, I just went through some special education. I'm now certified in trust delivery. And it's sparking conversations, either with their family, with their friends and network, or even attorneys that see it. And they say, hey, tell me more about that. Or I didn't realize you could do that. Let's talk about it. And that alone is starting to generate some business. Now, the other huge part here is, though, just like any other certification, this is not a passive certification. So it's not about just taking it and letting it sit there and having a pretty picture on the wall, right? We know that. Next is to implement. What we did in that training is 60% of it, if not more, is geared towards how to develop relationships with hiring parties like estate planning attorneys. We give you the exact language. We tell you how to find them. We tell you what to say. So now you start doing that. Implement that plan. Start doing your outreach and start developing the relationships so that you can be hired that way.
Okay.
And congratulations, by the way.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet.
That's all.
All right. Thanks, Dev. Appreciate you being here. Jen Cooper, let me know if Laura pops in because I can't see her yet. If you would.
Thought she did, but I'll look.
All right. Thanks.
I'm in, but I'm on the road. I need
gotcha.
another 2-3 minutes.
You got it. No problem.
Okay.
See you soon. I love all these LinkedIn profiles. This is awesome. Connect with each other on LinkedIn. Geneva Stewart, thank you so much for being here. Want to unmute, tell everybody what state you're in and how we can help?
Oh, I'm from Waldorf, Maryland. And my question today is, I had a gentleman contact me to serve some papers on a young lady at the courthouse. And is there some way I can find a pricing guide or a guideline or something as to what I should be charging?
Yeah, good question. So the rules for process serving are different in every state. The first question I think you want to ask yourself is, do you want to do it? Process serving, it's a different animal altogether. And I
It
don't
wasn't something I wanted to do. He kind of called me up and asked me would I do it.
Yeah.
I don't advertise for it, but he just called me up, found me on Google and asked me could I do it.
Is, to the best of your knowledge, is process serving or service of this kind, is it a notarial act? Is it I've never
It
heard
can
that.
be. Anybody can be a process server, anyone.
Okay.
As
Okay.
long as you're over 18 years of age and don't know the person, the people involved in it. Anyone can be a process server.
And they just have to follow the rules of your state in the process
Correct.
service, right? Okay.
Mhm.
So really, to answer your question is to do some market research in your area. I don't know if it's regulated. Some states might regulate. This is how much you can charge for the first try, second try, third try, or this is what you do in a bundled fee. Like this covers the first 3 tries, and then you charge something else for the next round of tries. But your market research with your competition, sometimes people will post their rates right on their website. So check out process serving in your area and see if you can find others in your area that have the courage to post their fees. But I'll go back to my first question. Do you want to do this? Process serving is not for everybody. Some people absolutely love it. But you might want to be very selective of the jobs that you choose to take on that.
Well, yeah, this one was at the courthouse, so I didn't figure, I didn't have a second thought. I figured I was safe, with all the police around me, so I went and did it. But
oh, you already did it?
Not something I want to do,
Mhm.
but he came to me and asked and begged because he couldn't find anyone else in this area. So I did it.
Yeah, well, good for you for just jumping right in and trying something. If your state does not regulate your fees, then look at your competition, see what they're doing, price in the mid-range, or if you want to be selective, if you don't want that to be the majority of your business, you can even have a premium fee that weeds out a lot of the calls, right? And then the people who do call you for that, knowing what your fee is, they want you and they're willing to pay a premium price for it.
Well, I was I was leery or hesitant, and I just said $100. He said, okay, no problem. So I just took it.
How much time did that take?
About a half an hour. I sat in the courtroom and they called her name. I knew it was her. And on the way out the door, I kind of like was waiting for a little privacy. I just said, is your name whatever? And she said, yes. And I said, you've been served. And I kept it moving.
Just like the movies. Fascinating, Geneva. I would dig into that a little bit.
Okay, I'll look into it.
Yeah, keep us posted too. And then if anybody on today's call has experience in process serving or a perspective on that, please use the chat and to either connect with Geneva or offer your resources.
Thank you.
Thanks, Geneva. Susan T through Z, thanks for being here. What state are you in and how can we help? It's on mute. There we go. There we are. Back to mute, Susan. It looks like you might have a rough internet connection. Sometimes if you turn your camera off, it gives enough bandwidth that we could hear you. So I'll come back to you. Cassie Creech, great to see you on today. Tell everybody what state you're in and how we can help.
Hey there. Hey, everybody. Good to see you.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Sure can.
Okay, great. So I had a few questions from our group, which is Notary Knowledge, a little plug for us on Clubhouse, but we have some questions that we've been talking about, and so I wanted to bring them here and hopefully get some input, if that's
Great.
all right with you.
Yeah, sure.
All right. A lot of them revolve around fees, so interesting that we were just talking about that. But okay, so the first one is if we get a call from the general public and they have loan documents that they're trying to get notarized, are we able to charge as a loan signing agent, or are we charging as general notary work our our state fees? So if someone calls and let's say they have
Yeah,
a
I
loan
understand.
modification, yeah.
Mhm. Well, so that might be a little bit different with the loan modification. It depends on the type of service that you're delivering, right? If you are doing the printing, orchestrating the appointment, giving the brief description, gathering all the signatures, essentially doing the same work that you would do, regardless of who hires you, you can bundle your fees. So if you're used to getting paid $150 from an escrow officer, if Joe Smith from down the street calls for the same job, you can still charge $150.
Now, do you know if that is state specific? Because we have some input that maybe some of the states that are really regulated with their fees, that it may be different there. That's why we're asking the question, because some have heard that, in their state, that if it doesn't matter, that if you're called, if it's a loan document, unless you're hired by a third party, like a signing service or a title company, that you're not allowed to charge those rates. So just curious if anyone has heard anything about that in different states.
Absolutely not. It doesn't matter who's paying you.
Okay.
You're charging the fee. And
All
I
right,
don't know,
great.
I don't know of any state that has any type of rule like that. Matt, have you heard anything like that?
None. No, you can charge whatever you want, no matter who the hiring party is, so long as you and your client agree to the rate prior to the appointment. And on your receipt, you separate out notarial fees versus service fees. And keep in mind, folks, this is the same across the country. You can charge up to and including the maximum fee for your notarial services. You don't have to charge the maximum fee. You can charge lower, but you can charge the maximum fee. Let's just break this down like a normal loan signing. There's 10 notarizations and the guy pays you $100. That's $10 a notarization, or until you run out of money in your journal. So there's no state policy legislation that covers loan signings, because to the state, a notary is a notary is a notary.
That's exactly right. And I think the important thing to remember is that when you're bundling your services, like we do as a loan signing agent or as a trust delivery agent, you're not necessarily charging the notarization fee, right? Here's just a collective fee for everything that I'm performing in this appointment. And that's the fee for it. Because
Okay.
you're providing services above and beyond just simple notarization.
I gotcha. Okay, thank you for that.
Yeah,
for
great
that
question.
answer.
Great
Yeah.
question.
Okay, the next one is similar question, but it has to do with the estate planning work. So let's say you're called by the public and it's just for a power of attorney.
Yeah.
As opposed to if you're called, if an attorney calls you with a whole estate package. Same question really with the fees. Are you able to charge a higher fee because it is estate planning work? May just be one document, just like a power of attorney, but.
Great question. I love this because, and we address this in detail in the Certified Notary Trust Delivery Agent program and in our 2 free trainings that we've already released. So I'm just going to give people some resources, Cassie, because this is a great question that we hear all the time. There is a huge difference between doing a living trust presentation, or what we've called trust delivery, where you have 6 to 8 notarizations, 10 to 12 documents, sometimes more, depending on the situation. you are taking on more responsibility for that. You're orchestrating the documents. You might be coordinating witnesses. You're gathering signatures on documents that don't have to be notarized. You're doing the notarization. You might be scanning documents for the hiring party, whether it's an attorney or not. So that's all a bundled fee. If somebody calls you for a POA or 2 POAs or a last will and testament, there's no getting around it. That's general notary work, or still specialty notary work, but it's not orchestrating all that. You're not doing all of that other work. So you are regulated and restricted to your state mandated fees.
And travel if you're allowed.
And travel if you're allowed, of course, right? Yeah. Thank you, Laura. Hey, welcome.
So can I go back to the first one then with the loan signing work? So let's say that you're called for a deed. It's not a whole package, but it's a deed.
Mm-hmm.
You're going back to general notary work charges for that?
Yeah. So especially if it's the general public. Now, there are escrow companies that will pay you more, but they might need you to print something out. They might need you to scan it. They might do it. Other types of things. They might be paying your loan signing fees, but the general public's expectation is that that's going to be your general notary work fee.
Okay. So for the to charge the loan signing agent fee, it has to be a full loan signing. Basically, even if you're called from the general public, that's when you can use your loan signing fees, right? No,
there has to be, you have to be performing other duties, right? There's briefly describing the documents, printing, drop off, all those other things that we do. So if you're just walking in and saying, this is this document, sign and date here, and I'll notarize it, it's really difficult to justify charging fees for all the other stuff that we do in that bundle.
Gotcha.
Laura, I'm so glad that you're here because we didn't get your perspective on this. Do you want to chime in on that all the way around?
Yeah, and it's basically what Bill's telling you is that when we bundle fees, that means there's a bundle of services that we're charging for. So just start breaking it out. What did they ask you to do? Oh, they asked me to travel. That's a fee. They asked me to print. That's a fee. They asked me to help them collect signatures and walk through the documents. They asked me to notarize. They asked me to drop it off at a courier place, or they asked me to scan it, or they asked me to drop it in regular mail, whatever it is. All of those things, identify them, assign value to each of them. And that's how you end up with a total price. And really, that's how loan signing fees are built. So if you're only being asked to travel and notarize a document, then there's only 2 fees you can bundle together. Right? So think about all the possible things you might be asked to provide and assign value to that, stack them up and say, okay, you want me to do this, 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 and this. Here's my fee for that. Does that make sense?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Whether it's estate planning or loan signing or modifications or who knows what documents they ask us, I always start from my base of, okay, what are the different services you're asking me to do?
Great.
Okay.
Thank you. The last question, sorry, I know I'm taking up a lot of time, but
perfect. No, you're good.
The last question has to do with the Patriot Act and the loan signings, and as to how we're supposed to sign that form. There's been, discussion about whether you sign as a notary, if you sign as a loan signing agent, or signing agent. So just want to get your input on that.
All right. Well, I'm happy to jump in on that.
Yeah, this is old school question. I love it.
It really is. Yeah. So when you're not notarizing a document, you may not use your title of office in any way. So it's going to be signing agent for the Patriot Act, unless you happen to have a version of Patriot Act that has a notarization to it. Then obviously you're signing your name as a notary. Other than that, it's always signing agent.
Right.
And that goes for any other document they might have in that packet that they're asking you to sign. If you're not acting as a notary, then you may not use your notary title.
Okay. Great. I'll bring it back to the group. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
Laura Biewer, would you like to take a moment and introduce yourself?
I would love to. Thank you. Hi, everyone. If there's anyone on the call who doesn't know who I am Laura Biewer, and I am the founder of Coach Me Laura, as well as a co-creator of Notary Business Builder. And I am recently a best-selling co-author of the book beyond loan signings, how to monetize your commission through specialty. That can be found on Amazon, by the way. And I'm excited to be here because I love to co-host on Tuesdays with Bill. Have you ever had tech issues? Yeah, it was my day for tech issues and it delayed everything. So I'm so glad I made it for half of it and glad to be here today.
Me too. Welcome. I am just typing in a link to the books and
Put a link to the book already.
yeah, but I got a special message. Thank you so much. You're so good. You're on it.
And while they're doing that, I'd like to announce that on every Saturday at 8 a.m. I have an inner circle. And that inner circle is very similar to this. It's a much smaller group where people ask questions and we have discussions. It's 8 a.m. Pacific time. And if you're interested, go to my website at Coach Me Laura. Drop me your email at Inner Circle and you'll get the link.
Awesome. All right. Starting in celebration of my birthday, which is this Thursday, September 28th, all of my books and the John Braddock's Click Here When I Die book, the Kindle version of all of these books, are free from Thursday, 9/28 to Monday, October 2nd. So hopefully you'll hear this message in time for that. You can get those books at notarycoach.com/books. I'll put the link in the chat for you. Save that for Thursday, though. If you don't have a copy of any of those books, Beyond Loan Signings that Laura just mentioned, Sign and Thrive, Notary Business Building Challenge, Supercharge Your Notary Business with LinkedIn, which we were just talking about earlier, you can get it for free Thursday through Monday as my gift to you. All right, let's go back to Susan. Susan, I see you turned your camera off. Maybe we have enough bandwidth to hear you. You want to unmute? Speaking of tech issues, Laura, I think Susan's having your kind of day.
Susan, did you unmute, remute?
We'll come back. Oh, there
There
she
we
is.
go. She's
All
unmuted.
right.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Sure
Now
I don't know
can.
what's
Now we
wrong.
can.
I'm so sorry.
We got you.
Oh, goodness. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
I had good internet, perhaps not. My name is Susan Thornton Zatino. That's where the TZ comes from. I am in San Diego, California. I recently quit a job of 12 years as a higher ed counselor and had gotten my notary license just as kind of something I was thinking about. So I'm now, this will be my 8th week without a full-time job. So I'm mildly stressed, but focusing on the steps involved in marketing myself. Yelp, which I'm not super happy about. My Google business search I've worked on. I'm listed on the California League of Independent Notaries website. I still need to do Notary. And I feel like I've posted somewhere else. Next door, because somebody told me that's
Cool.
where they found a notary.
Susan, we're losing you really fast.
I've kind of trying to get what's wrong.
How about we do this?
I'm sorry. My apologies.
That's okay. I love it. Welcome to the biz. We're going to do everything we can to help you. Why don't we skip right to the question for right now? So maybe we can get that, we can hear that and be able to help you. You want to unmute real quick and just ask away. We lost you.
How about the chat?
So
put it in the chat, Susan.
You can type it into the chat, Susan. We'll keep our eye out for it and we'll make sure we can get that for you. All right, Dan Brewer, welcome. Come on up. Great to see you.
Okay, I'm having my share of tech issues too. I'm on a tablet. I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
My tech issues have gone back about 2 months now. And in regards to two very minor problems I'm having, one with Google My Business profile and my website. So minor problems for those two things are not minor, because that is, my business has gone down about So 25%, and that's me working diligently to get this stuff back. But I tell you, I don't really have a question. I just want to make my story a warning for people. You get your Google My Business profile going, and it's working really well for you. And Bill, you and I talked a couple months ago, and you were Googling me, and you saw I was right at the top, and it was working so well. And somehow I got banned. Yeah, I guess which happens because they think you're a spammer, so you got to get all that back. What I did not realize when I got all that back, I had to re-verify my profile. And by verifying your profile, that puts you on the map. And you don't even get into the top map box unless you're on the map, because now Google Business is part of Maps. So I'm just telling everybody, once you get your profile up, stay on it. And if you've got to be really a jerk and email Google, don't be a jerk to Google, because they're vindictive. And just kind of start sending stuff out. Stay on your profile. Make sure it's doing everything you need it to do all the time. Same is true. I had a problem with my host. My website domain carrier was Google. I moved it to GoDaddy. It's still not working the way I want to. I've been dealing with this now for 2 months. And I feel like I'm just going in a treadmill. I'm going in the same treadmill you go into when you try to get support from them. So make sure this stuff works, and you do it, and please do it in an incognito mode, because you've got cookies on your computer and everything that are going to save stuff, and you're not going to know what the public is seeing. You go into incognito mode or private mode or secret mode, whatever your browser calls it, then you'll get to see what the world gets to see. So stay on this stuff. I also had another answer to a question from a few minutes ago. The lady who was asking about serving stuff, doing service
Process serving, yeah. Mm-hmm.
You should have in your bag of tricks, and maybe even on your rates page of your website, you should have an hourly rate for stuff that is not stuff that you can just bill in a normal way for. I find myself veering off a lot into out of notary world work, but doing stuff that people trust us for, and they want to know how much to charge. I decided to put an hourly rate on that stuff. Now, I would have lost money because she got way more than I would have gotten. I decided when I was a tech writer and a tech trainer, when I was doing freelance work, I was making $75 an hour. So that's the rate I valued my time on. So if I ever get something that's kind of wackadoodle like that, I have this, at least in the back of my mind, it's going to be $75. By the way, that's beginning to end. That's when I hang up the phone, and every minute I kind of bill like a lawyer. Every minute I'm working it, then that counts. But it doesn't have to be that amount. Whatever amount you think is, if you want to make more, then make it more. But have that amount ready to go, so when people ask you those questions, you can have that answer. But everybody, please stay on your Google My Business profiles, because once these things get off the tracks, it is hard to get them back, and it's costing me business now. It's probably costing me. I'm part-time, and it's costing me $1,000 a month. So
Yes.
I got to get this stuff back on it. And so I'm going to mute because my son's got his iPad right here.
You got it.
Notary Masters is not this week, but next week. 9:30 p.m. Toastmasters.org.
Thank you so much.
NotaryMasters.org.
Thank you. All right, great advice here. Oh, thank you so much, Tabitha, for posting the Notary Masters Toastmasters Club in the chat. You definitely want to check that out. Great description there from Tabitha. Also, when it comes to Google, I know it sounds overwhelming when you hear stories like this, and it can be frustrating when things don't go wrong, and it is absolutely worth it to make it right. I just heard a story out of Texas where it took, I think, 8 months trying to clean up some of the Google stuff that can happen. I love that we're suggesting Legal Shield too. That's your law firm. So if you have Legal Shield, you utilize it. That's exactly what they're for, to give you that advice. And also, if you don't have it, every small business owner should have it. It's the most affordable legal advice that you can get. Boo, welcome. Come on up. Great to see you on. How can we help today in California?
I had a question. It was actually posed to me on a test. And I just wanted to find out, hone in more of the detail because I know what the answer was. So if a signer has a document written and he wants you to place him under oath and notarize, you look at the document and it only has his written statement, signature line, and a date for him. What should you do? So there's actually two questions I have. So the first is, can I write sworn before me, sign, stamp, place him under oath, and then complete my journal? That's one question. And the second one is, can I get a better script for someone who I will have to say, well, you need to tell me what you want. Would you like an acknowledgement or a jurat? And then how do I explain that?
Great question. All right, let's stop right there and let Laura answer.
Hi, Boo. So first of all, you can handwrite in a certificate as long as it's legible. You can have a certificate stamp that you can apply the wording to the document, or you can attach a certificate. Any one of those three options is fine. Now, to determine which certificate is it going to be, the script that I use is, you have several options. My first option is I can prove you're the person who signed it. That would be an acknowledgement. My second option would be that I'll make you swear what you signed is truthful. That's a jurat.
Okay, but if they ask just to put them under oath and notarize, there's no, what would I be handwriting if I was going to be able to handwrite?
Did you say, did it have a name of a document?
No, it's like, it was just, the question is, they have something written and they want you to place them under oath and notarize.
Okay,
and you look at the document,
it's not
and it only has a written statement.
Okay, so Boo, first of all, it's not and notarized. Put him under oath is the notarization. So it's not an and situation here. You're trying to clarify, is it just an oath or is it a full jurat? And my question to the signer would be, do you need me to verify your signature? Because that's what a jurat does and an oath doesn't. So if you just need me to put you under oath, then that's fine. I can stamp and sign that document without a certificate because his oath that's written on the document becomes the body or the statement that I'm certifying. And an oath in California does not require a venue on it. So that's the clarification you're missing, is if he needs to verify his signature, signed and sworn, that's where a jurat comes in. If he just needs to make you a truthful statement, a promise, then he can read that out loud. You can stamp and sign it. And the notarial act you're performing in that case is an oath.
So you don't have to write anything. You just sign your name and you stamp it. That's what I'm trying to get my head around, is what is my part of the document?
Yes. So Boo, all you do is stamp and sign it if all he wants is to be put under oath. And the oath verbiage that he has printed on his document becomes the certificate for you.
Okay, so what if he just verbally says, I want you to give me an oath and I want to have this notarized? Is that the same thing?
I'm going to ask him the question because you don't know what he needs yet. If he's going to sign the document, you need verification. Does he need the fact that he's the guy that signed it verified along with being put under oath? Or does he just need to have an oath? And the wording you can put, if you don't want to just stamp and sign, is sworn before me by Joe Signer, stamp and sign.
Okay, that's what I was wondering about, the sworn before me. And then he does have a line for his name. And then I would sign my name. I would stamp and then put the date on it.
Right, but Boo, here's the part that I'm not sure if you're getting, is that just because he's signing it doesn't turn it into a jurat. It's, what does he want me to certify? Does he want me to certify that he took an oath and that he's the guy that signed this document, or are they only needing an oath? If they only need an oath, he needs to say this wording out loud to a public officer who can administer an oath. then that's when it's just sworn before me. So knowing what questions to ask your customer makes the difference.
Okay.
So Laura,
So
for
for
further
everybody-
clarification, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead. I was just
No,
going
I
to
was
say,
just
so
gonna say for everybody on the call who doesn't know the difference between an oath by itself, and all 50 states have it, and a jurat, and all 50 states have it, is the jurat is going to do more than one thing. I'm making two separate certifications. The oath only makes one certification, and that is this guy said it was true. Now, Bill, did you want to add to that?
just for further clarification, because I think the signature part throws it off. So if he wanted to just do an oath without signing that document,
Yeah,
would that still qualify as an oath?
absolutely. He doesn't need to sign an oath.
So that's an extra piece of information that might be throwing you off a little bit. He doesn't have to sign it.
Got it.
And for
Awesome.
anybody who's in
Questions?
California, if you're in California, when you took your oath of office, look at that certificate that was signed. It kind of looks like a jurat, but it's really just an oath, and they don't have the notice box on it, right? It's very modified. An oath does not require identification either, although it's a good idea. So
Great
I hope
questions.
everybody.
Yeah, very helpful. Thank you, Boo. All right, real quick, before we bring Phil Shannon up too, I just want to remind everyone, if you like that level of granular training, Laura, Jen Neitzel, myself, and 8 other renowned industry leaders, teachers, and trainers are part of Notary Business Builder. You can get that level of specialty notary work training through Laura. We talk about relationships, and also we've been talking about Google Business Profile a lot today, and LinkedIn. All of those courses are included in NBB. The 5-week intensive Google Business Profile optimization class starts on Thursday. Starts on my birthday at 7 a.m. Pacific time, and it runs for 5 weeks. So if you want to jump in on that, you can do that. We've got the link in the chat for you. You just go to notarycoach.com. It's all over my website, but you can do /NBB as well for that specific information. Thank you, Phil. Come on up. What's going on today?
An early happy birthday to Mr. Soroka.
Thank
Congratulations, another year younger. As you might notice, I don't have much in my background because today is moving day, which is really exciting. Let me tell you, I'm so happy you guys are. This happens to be TNT day, so I can take a little break from the moving day. That means that 5 minutes after TNT ends, I will be doing a short Zoom presentation explaining a lot of what Bill was already alluding to. Daniel's already a member. I hope Daniel will use and call the law firm about that. Thank you, Daniel. And take care of many of the needs that notaries have as a business owner, as a sole proprietor, as an entrepreneur. Our services just make a lot of sense, and some are able to use it for a way to generate some additional income. So I know Bill's already probably posted in the chat. I will post my phone number just in case you would like to text me as well. But we look forward to seeing you 5 minutes after TNT. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Bill. Thanks, Laura. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thank you, Phil. Appreciate that so much. If you haven't already registered for the reminders for TNT and all the other cool stuff we've got going on, if you're watching the replay right now on YouTube, you can register for the Zoom link at www.notarycoach.com/TNT for Tuesday Notary Titans. Deanna, welcome. Hi, great to see you. How can we help today? Oh, still on mute.
Thanks. So I'd like to go back really quick to the LinkedIn topic.
Yes.
I have Sandra Long's book, and I admittedly have not read it yet, but I did do the course, and I've got my page up and everything, profile rather. The question I have, which I know I'd probably find out if I read it, but really quickly, because I'm on there to build a business, right? I don't necessarily want to just start sending out invitations to connect with me to anybody that I know, or do I? I mean, because they might know somebody too that I know, or that I could serve, or vice versa. Is that the idea? Just send it out to everybody that I know, including searching for, watching people like you talk about, getting in the orbit of the attorneys that we want to work with.
So great question. And again, I love that you're thinking about this. And on LinkedIn, you want to be, so I won't go as far as to say, just blast it out to everybody and make sure that they join. You want to be really strategic with your network growth on LinkedIn. You want your content to land with people who might need your services or know someone who needs your services.
Mhm.
That said, you still want to balance that out because the people who need your services could literally be anyone. And if you do have a network that you've not connected with on LinkedIn because maybe your previous role was, pretty siloed and you just kept it to that, you can start gradually expanding that for sure. Like maybe get strategic with it and say, well, all of these people that I used to work with, or all of these people in this industry, I'm going to start reaching out to, and just slowly start growing it off authentically and organically. So it's not a blast, but you're still being thoughtful about it.
Okay.
Because having 10,000 people on LinkedIn that don't care about what you do for a living isn't going to be helpful. It's not about that, right? You want to, it's a great place to further a relationship. So if you're going to use it to communicate and share value, think about it like that and just grow it. But you can do that 10 people a day. And that's kind of what you kind of want to do, right? It's just think about who can I reach out to? 10 people a day that I could possibly be of service to, or they might have some value for me.
And I'd be identifying those people just by searching on LinkedIn, or people that I already know.
Either way.
Okay.
I love that yesterday I learned that my barber is on LinkedIn. Completely unexpected, but I'm going to connect with her on LinkedIn. So that type of connection is great to have. Yes.
Okay.
And you can go through your phone and say, I wonder if Bob's on LinkedIn, and look him up.
Right.
Get real strategic that way.
Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. Great question.
Thanks.
Trisha Bridges, hello and welcome. What's up in Illinois?
Oh, so much, Bill. So much. Hi, how are you? How is everybody? Are you all ready for fun
I
in
am
Philadelphia?
looking forward to finally meeting you.
Yeah, finally, after all this time. That sounds so crazy, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
I want to go backwards a little bit when you all were talking about fees.
Yeah.
And up until recently in July, the notary fee was $1. I never charged it. But I went into the mindset of when you get a loan signing, working for a title company or signing service, it's the job, not how many times you stamp. So that's how I was being paid for the job, my professionalism and knowledge. So as a specialty notary, general notary signer that does a myriad of different documents, I base my fees on the type of documents and what services that they need from me. But it's all in the agreement that you have with your potential client before you even step a foot out the door, I feel. And you vet them well and you find out what it is that they want and what you have to do. And for example, the other day, I haven't had it in a long time, but O'Hare Airport, for anybody who's familiar in Chicago, is so much further than Midway. I used to get airport signings all the time. That's a buttload of money for somebody who needed a document signed and they need to fly either out of the country or they're going out of state. And if I have to drive all the way out there and figure out where I'm going to meet them for them to get this document or several documents signed, they're going to pay me for my time, my effort, my professionalism, so that they can have what they need to have. So back to the fee part, I remember I asked you that like 3 years ago because it was so frustrating to me at the beginning. But what you do is you do the job and you learn from what people hire you before you learn to ask, what is your value? And you take that value when you're working on your own assignments. I do a lot of corporate signings. They don't even think about what you tell them as a fee because it's part of the cost of doing business. So I guess the moral of my story is, are you going to charge by stamp? Are you going to charge by job? I charge by job.
Thank you, Patricia. That's great perspective. And I think, again, it can vary by state in these situations. But what I love about Patricia's story is there have been so many people I talked to in Illinois who says, I'll never make money. The only thing I can charge is $1, because they got caught up on the per stamp fee instead of focusing on the service charge or the travel fee or the bundled service that you can provide. There's a workaround in most states. Some are pretty strict, but Patricia found a way to make that work. And I love that perspective. So thank you for sharing that. Bernice
As
Williams.
a courier, that's the fee that you have with either your client or the client who hires you to deliver documents. That's a fee I even do with my corporate signers now, because I work with a lot of attorneys, estate planning. But if you would like for me to deliver the documents, it's X amount. And because you want me to go stand in line and do whatever it is that they want me to do, then that's the negotiation and the value of what you have to offer. And to me, it seems like it's valuable and it's worth it. It's not gouging for whatever the fee is that I offer, is because they call me back again and again.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
There you go.
Keep the big picture in mind. I love it, Patricia. Thank you. Bernice, hi. Great to see you.
Hi, and I know I'm at the end, but I just wanted to comment on something that Patricia said, and you're right. It is the value that we have to realize, our value that we provide to the individual and stand with it. But also, I have found that it's also important when you have agreed upon whatever that agreed upon fee, to have some kind of a documentation or support in the event that once you go, there is a question about, someone doesn't want to pay it. I had a friend, just really quickly, I had a friend that shared with me once she went to an appointment, did everything I wanted to do, told him the fee was like $200. And the guy's like, I ain't paying $200 for that. But the one thing that she had was, if nothing more, a text message, an agreed upon text message in her phone to support that they had already agreed upon whatever that fee was. And so when there was a question, she was able to pull it up and say, hey, you've already said yes. And so that's one of the things that I do when I confirm appointments, whether you do it through Calendly or however you do it. I also send a text message and have them reply with a yes before I walk out the door, to include, to ensure that there's no questions about what this fee is going to be, and it's already done. So I just wanted to also encourage those of us that if you're not doing it, and there's a expectation of a fee upon completion of the job, that you have some kind of a support, whether it be email or text, that they have agreed upon the fee.
Great. Thank you for that, Bernice. Love that perspective. Love that experience. And your timing was perfect. It brings us right in to the full 1 hour. Laura, any closing thoughts from you?
Let me think. Well, we're still kind of at the beginning of the week. We haven't hit hump day on Wednesday yet. So I hope you guys are having a super fantastic week and lots of prospecting going on and lots of jobs coming in. May it be a fabulous week for you.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. Hopefully, I'll get to see you in Philly for the Philly Notary Social this weekend, September 29th to October 1st. It's going to be a blast. Still some seats left at phillysocial2023.com. If we don't, maybe we'll see you next year. Anyway, thank you for joining us for Tuesday Notary Titans, and thank you for growing yourself and your business on the Tuesday. We will see you next week. Bye-bye.